Hey folks, welcome to episode number 7 of the Rhubarb Travelers podcast. We are recording this show on Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025. I am Blake. With me, as always, is Damon. How are you doing, my friend?
Well, I'm just wondering, what's going to happen at episode 10? Is there anything special? I don't know.
I don't know. What are we going to do, man? This is.
I don't know. We'll have to see.
I rely on you for a lot of that. Come up with the ideas.
I have, I have a lot of good ideas about a lot of things. My follow through, because I'm so busy, is very low with most of the things. I'll be honest with you. I was thinking about this recently, yesterday. I've ordered, the big thing is my attic is obviously a disaster, right? So I ordered 2 huge shelves from Sam's Club, the ones that hold 8 million pounds. And,
right.
And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. I'll be able to put those both together and get stuff stacked on them. And it'll take me a day. And then they're showing up tomorrow. And I'm like, yeah, I bet you they don't even get put up before Christmas. Yeah. I always have good ideas.
You've been working on this attic thing for, it seems like 2 years almost.
Well, so what happens is you go up there and it just kind of goes, falls apart. So my son had cleaned it up pretty well. And then I went up there to find something, and then that was it. It just kind of fell apart at that point. Or you put new stuff up there. Really, the big thing is the geo-tracks this year. This is going to be my first year since the kids have been younger that we're going to have working geo-tracks, and they're going to go up, and that's been its own sort of thing.
Oh, wow. That's a blast from the past. My kids.
Yeah. So I'm trying to find a little mini kind of camera I can put on the train and then record a video. So we'll see how that goes, though.
All right, let's do our Patreon subscriber shout out. This week, we are shouting out Dan H. Dan has
No way.
Yes, Dan H is a new Patreon subscriber.
He just wants me to read Impossible Creatures to him over the phone, I feel like.
He has been a longtime friend of the show, and so now he is a Patreon subscriber.
That makes me feel good, though. That's a good feel for the start of the show.
As with all of our Patreon subscribers, it feels good that they are donating. So thank you for that. And if you are interested in becoming a Patreon subscriber, please head on over to patreon.com, look up Rhubarb Travelers, and please consider becoming a Patreon subscriber. It helps out quite a bit.
And I'll read passages of Impossible Creatures too.
That's right. That could be a Patreon exclusive.
There you go.
Yeah. All right.
This is a very non-after-show weighted show. It's very Disney-ish.
It's going to be light on Aftershow.
That's okay, though.
Right. It's going to be like the opposite of the previous show, which was almost entirely Aftershow. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get into DVC and resort news and tips. So it is that time of year again, folks. 2026 annual dues have been released by Disney for DVC. So, David, would you care to guess, without looking at the list, if you haven't already done so, which resort or which DVC property had the largest percentage increase?
I can't tell. I've already looked. I'm sorry. So Bay Lake Tower.
Yeah, Bay Lake Tower,
9%.
Increase. So
I only really look at the ones that impact me, right? Right. And Riviera obviously is at 4% lower because it's newer, right? Less things to kind of fix.
Right.
Saratoga Springs at 759. I mean, it hurts a little bit, I guess, right? I don't know. I just kind of don't really think about this, right? To me, it's just, okay, they're going to go up every year. It's just kind of the way the world works.
Right.
And I don't get bent out of shape about it. I mean, does it, pass inflation percentage? Yeah, right. That kind of stinks, but I don't think too much about it. I think that the value is still so high that, paying a dues increase is just, it's life. That's kind of the way I look at it.
It's the cost of doing business, as they say.
Yes. So, so we do have some large numbers here. Right. Grand Floridian kind of high. I mean, Saratoga's higher than I like.
Cabins at Fort Wilderness, while the percentage increase wasn't very big, man, their overall dues are.
Yeah. So if we start looking at the actual number, right? Like then all of a sudden things change, right? Percentages is always, like you said, what does percentage really matter? It's really, what is that final number?
Right.
I mean, you have, the Vero Beach number, you have the Hilton Head number, and I'm sure Hilton Head had some issues with, the weather that came through last year. Cabins of Fort Wilderness, like you said, at $12.27, 28 cents rounded up for dues is kind of brutal.
Yeah.
But, again, it's kind of like when you go get gas. So this is what happened to me. I'm going to, I was so upset by this. So I'm going to get gas. I'm driving my son home from Thanksgiving and I'm going to get gas. And I'm like, okay, I it's $2.99, but I can do better, right? Like you kind of play that game with yourself.
Right.
I can do better. I can do this. Okay. So I finally find a place that's $2.79, but it's one of those like kind of like mom and poppy sort of places. Like it's like, it does have a store. Anyway, this is a Sunday. So I pull in, I fill up and I'm like, wait a second. Why is it so expensive? So I said, let me see my receipt, but my receipt's in the store, but the store is closed because it's Sunday.
Oh.
And I'm just bent out of shape. Long story short is, I was looking to save all this money at, $2.79. I ended up putting premium in by mistake because normally where premium is on my regular gas station, they had them flip-flopped.
Right.
And I was like, see, like it didn't even really matter. I was talking about saving 5 cents to then get beat for $1. And I feel it's the same kind of sort of way here. Like, yeah, like whatever, man. Like, what is mine going to go up? So 5%. I mean, I pay on my dues. I want to say hold on, I'm looking. No, I pay $195.
$195 is what you're saying.
Yeah, a month. I think
a month. Okay.
Yeah.
A month.
And so what is 7%? Like, do I care? You're talking like $14, man.
Yeah, 10% would be $19. So
I'm talking $14. Like, why am I even concerned about $14? Like, that's why I don't get why people like are always so like vehemently waiting for this number. Like, dude, it's $14. Like, even if it's $30, $40, like it's $30, $40. Like, why are we sweating this?
And then by 12, if you multiply that 12, that goes out to around $150 a year extra, at least for this.
Yeah, I have a weird scenario, right? So I'm on a contract with my parents, so they're currently using it, but it will go into we're on the contract as well. Right. So they're currently paying. That's why my number's a little bit lower, because they're still paying theirs, but that will eventually come to us. So,
all right. Let's go. If you are a resale contract,
we have no questions. You didn't even ask for questions. Oh my goodness.
No. Well, we're still in DVC resort news.
Okay, we still have a lot this week. So okay,
we got a lot. So, all right. So, if you are looking into buying a resale contract, please be aware that starting January 1 of 2026, Disney is going to start assessing a new administrative transfer fee just to process that transfer. So,
which they well should, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So, would you care to guess what that new fee is? Have you looked at that?
I have not looked it up. I would say it's like $100 though.
Wrong.
What is it?
It's higher.
Oh, $500?
It is $500. 500 big ones to transfer a title.
Yeah, I mean, I wish it was more.
Wish it was more. So why more? Like what's
I'm not a resale person. I think that there should never be resale, right? I think those contracts should go straight back to Disney, right? If you want to sell, I've always said this on the other show too. But like my thing is I'm not really a big fan of resale. I think that if you want to sell, it should go sell back to Disney at a percentage of what they're currently selling for, right? So you always know what that number is. It's a percentage. It is what it is, right?
Right.
That's how I think that it should work. So I'm fine with, this. Again, if it was higher, would it make a difference?
You would want it higher to be a deterrent.
Yes, I'm always about deterrence in terms of resale. But I mean, it's something, right? It shows me that they're thinking that way. And what's to come? I mean, I think that Disney, again, this is my opinion, but I think that Disney's always been looking at ways to kind of make more money on resale contracts because they don't make as much,
right?
At all, really. So
do they make anything right now off of resale? I mean, is there?
No, I mean, they make it off the original sale, right? Like,
Right.
It's not like those points like get double sold, right? They're just being moved to somebody else. So
Right.
they've made their money up front on that contract.
But there's nothing they get when
now they do.
You would sell it to me. Right. Yeah. They will starting January 1st. So just be aware, if you are looking to buy a resale, there's another $500 that you're going to have to chip in to make that happen. All right. So we just said that Bay Lake Tower had the highest percentage increase of dues. Now, this next article is going to kind of explain why. So Contemporary Resort has been going through a refurbishment now since September of 2024, well over a year. Well, they just extended that, and now this refurbishment will last until late 2027, not 26, 27. That is a 30-month extension beyond what was originally planned.
It's so funny because that's where my first stay at Disney was. Like I said, my parents couldn't necessarily afford to take me, so my aunt and uncle took me to my first Disney trip, and that's where we stayed. And it was always such an interesting experience. I was looking at some pictures recently of that. So yeah, this is long though.
Right. Yeah. It was originally scheduled to be over actually this past summer of 2025. They extended it one time to July 2026.
I wonder why.
Yeah, they must have found some things. That is the only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
Unless there's something big on the horizon.
Which there could be. We don't really know. I mean, it would be, this is it was one of the earliest hotels though. So, I mean, I could see it needing a little bit more in terms of refurbishment. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. We'll kind of stay on top of that.
So you said Contemporary was your first
trip. Yeah.
First trip. Was that that was where you first stayed, like the very first time you went to Disney? Or?
Yeah, I mean, that was my river country trip, right?
Oh, okay.
So that was, like I said, went to river country, stayed at the Contemporary, did the parks. Like I said, I don't remember the parks like at all. I just remember river country in terms of that trip. I don't even remember staying at the Contemporary. I know we did, but I remember river country more than anything. And only little parts of river country. So I remember, like, I have pictures of me going down the slides. I don't necessarily remember that part. I remember, like, the ropes course there, I think, more than anything. And I also remember the water being like lake water, right? Because it was.
Well, it was, yeah.
Yeah. So those are the two things that kind of pop out to me about that trip.
Right. Okay. In our last little bit of DVC news, DVC eligible owners, and I'm doing the air quotes with my fingers, eligible owners will have access to a special viewing area for Disneyland's Christmas Fantasy Parade. Now, there were 3 dates for this. 2 of them have already passed. They were on November 20th and 25th, but there's still one more. December 11th, you will be able to go get a wristband from the Starview Station Lounge within Disneyland starting at 11 a.m. It is for the owner and 4 guests that are on the actual resort stay. So you can't just go grab 4 random people to go watch this with you, but you will have a special viewing area for this fantasy parade. Yep. Which do they do this normally? Because I've never heard of them having a special viewing area. I would think that Disney would want to do this more often because this is a perk, right, that is essentially free in a way, I think.
Yeah, but they could also be charging for that special viewing area, so there's that.
Yes, but I don't think they give up as much revenue off of that.
Yeah, so, I would agree with that.
So I think it's something that they should look into at least because of all, Disney is kind of known for maybe taking away perks over time. This is something they can add on. I think it's a good offer for DVC owners. So
of course.
And it does say eligible owners, but it doesn't define what an eligible owner is. I would think, I don't know. You think this is Blue Card?
It might be.
So, all right. We don't have any listener questions this week.
Blake didn't even ask, let's be honest.
What? I got to do everything around here. I got to do.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. Before we get into park news, and folks, we got a lot of park news this week. We're going to go ahead and do our sponsor. So let's listen to our sponsor ad, and we'll be right back. We'd like to welcome our inaugural sponsor to the show, Don'tResistTheTravel.com. Folks, vacation travel should be exciting, memorable, and most importantly, completely stress-free. Ha! Right. However, as we all know, planning that perfect trip for you and your family can be anything but that. And that's where the folks at Don't Resist the Travel come in and save the day. Whether you're traveling with your family and want a vacation that's fun, effortless, and full of memories, or you're looking for a luxury escape with VIP experiences, private tours, and hand-picked resorts, the folks at Don't Resist the Travel handle every detail just for you. When you work with Don't Resist the Travel, you don't just book a trip, you build an experience that's truly tailored to your personal needs. So don't resist. You know you want to travel. Visit Don'tResistTheTravel.com and start planning your next unforgettable getaway today. And make sure to let them know the guys at Rhubarbs Travelers podcast sent you. That's Don'tResistTheTravel.com. And we're back. Okay, folks, we are chock full of park news today, so let's get it rolling. The first one we are going to talk about is airline-style ticket pricing is coming to Walt Disney. And by that, you will see dynamic pricing changes based on time of year, events coming. Now, we're already kind of used to that. Ticket prices change depending on the type of year. However, this is going to be taken up to a new level where you could see this change daily.
It's so odd to me because we're talking about an optimization of where if the park's busy, the price increases, which I get, right? Because then you're trying to stop people from coming. Right. But on the other end of it, like, why do I want to pay more for a day that I know is going to be busier?
Right. And that pricing could change during the day. So if you were to look at ticket pricing
you're still
in the morning,
locked into whenever you buy.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
Now, so then to me, the play there for us as attendants is you might want to start thinking about buying tickets as early as possible, because the whole thing here is supply and demand, right? So if they can change the pricing as the supply of tickets drops on the fly, it behooves you to buy early where there's greatest supply, and ostensibly you would have the lowest pricing, I would think.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, when am I going down? Am I going down? Oh, we might go down this year. Well, actually, first, Blake and myself were talking about maybe we go down and do a show down there, right?
Yeah, live show.
And I'm always down to go because I have the points, I have the time, and my daughter can always get tennis lessons. So I'm always ready to go. We were talking about going down for tennis lessons and like over the 4th of July. And then, going to the park one day. But I was like, I'll just wait to see, what day we'll go. So this would be something that would affect me per se.
Right. So buy those tickets early.
Yeah.
Next, Disney is partnering with Meta, also known as Facebook, to develop smart glasses for the parks. And this is going to be where they are looking into putting a virtual theme park guide, as they're saying it, in your ear via smart glasses. So if you've seen the commercials that have Chris Pratt and who is the other person, Hemsworth, that it's the Ray-Ban sunglasses, it's Ray-Ban glasses that have Meta integrated into them. Disney is partnering with Meta where it looks like they might be developing something like a guide.
But I mean, are you coming with your own glasses? They, giving you glasses? Are you renting glasses? Like,
I would think it would be an app that you would have to download for your own glasses.
Yeah, and to me, like, I like the use of like smart technology, but it seems to me like what they're talking about is like a theme park guide in their ear. It's like, at the end of the day, the benefit of having a theme park guide is to get on the rides. And while we do like to hear about the parks, I feel like everything has kind of been talked out about the parks. Like,
right.
Are you really going to hear something new? I mean, I guess for people that don't come often, it might be interesting, or people that were never like really down the rabbit hole of, the Disney park and the architecture and things like that is kind of cool. I'd like to see it, use like, where it's a map or it tells me ride time. Like I can look at a ride. It tells me how long, like things like that. So hopefully there's a lot of that
Right. So
in there as well.
So they interviewed Imagineer Asa Kalama, I hope I said that correct, of Executive Creative and Interactive Experiences. And Asa said, didn't actually demonstrate their use, but he talked about how the cameras and the microphones and the speakers in those Ray-Bans could, quote, enhance the way we tell stories. So, for example, guests exploring Galaxy's Edge could look around and ask questions about the architectural details. They could get the answers right in their ears. If they were looking at a merchandise item, they could ask questions about that and be able to get information. I would think that they would also be able to, I think you mentioned this right then, was to add in more stuff about the rides and add in enhancements on the rides and shows. So
we'll see how it goes.
How much are those glasses? I haven't even looked into.
I think they're like $3 something. I was going to get a pair for my son, but then I was like, man, I already got him too much for Christmas. I can't do it. I can't. So, but I mean, I think they'd be interesting. I think they would be good for, a bunch of projects that I would want to do. I think that they would be really good. So I think at some point our family will get a pair. We might have a family pair. You know what I mean? Like it wouldn't be,
right.
We have a family pair.
You have to wipe them down between every use.
Exactly.
All right. So the beginning of the end has started. So the pre-show has now permanently closed for Aerosmith Rock and Roller Coaster. This is the part of the pre-show where you walk into the studio and you see all the instruments there, and there's a screen in the background.
Crazy! They think that this means there's going to be no pre-show for the new ride. Stop! It's already in the drawings, like
concept art.
Yeah, it's going to happen. Like the people that think that just need to relax. I guess there's some discussion about, well, why close it? And then, everyone always complains that Disney takes forever to do things. Well, let them do, right? The reason they're closing it is so they can work on the new one. Like this could be and this isn't a new ride, so I get it, right? But I think this could be one of the quickest turnarounds of something like this if they still hit 26. So let them do, like they have to close it to start working on it. Like that's just life. You're lucky they're not closing the ride. Yeah,
exactly. So when you walk in now, instead of seeing that studio, they basically have covered over it with a wall that has,
which looks kind of cool, by the way.
Yeah, it does. It's silver, and I think it's using the G-Force Records label that is the record label in the ride. So it looks very cool. But from now on, you will just walk. My question is, how are they going to hold? I guess they're not holding people in that room anymore.
No, it will be a different sort of experience to get on. I mean, I think, they'll figure out a new pathing for people, but yeah.
Okay. Let's head over to the West Coast to Disneyland, and the Avatar. New details have been released about the Avatar ride coming to Disneyland Resort over in California Adventure.
I mean, I really want to see what Avatar does in terms of the new movie, right? Isn't the new movie like almost here?
It releases this weekend, I believe. Yeah, this Friday.
Okay. Like, I'm kind of curious to what happens there. I don't know. I don't know why this is, but I'm not like, I know Avatar still does well, right? And I guess Avatar: The Way of Water, like all this stuff was actually successful, but I don't know. I just don't see it. But it will be interesting. It will be interesting. That's for sure.
You just hope it's not another Flight of Passage ride, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, I just think that the technology of Flight of Passage just gets outdated so quickly. It's just not what I'm looking for. So give me something different.
Right.
I mean, now that we have all these really cool animatronics, right, with all the new animatronic styles, I'd even take something like that.
So something.
But this is a whole land, right? We're talking about not just necessarily a ride.
Right. So yeah, there's going to be a new land, but this is a ride within that land.
Okay. Yeah, I have to see it. Like I said, I want to see the numbers. It is a very cool land, but I just don't know how it resonates with everybody.
Right. And then, by the way, if you are familiar with Disneyland, this new ride is going to be taking the place of the Mike and Sully to the Rescue ride from Monsters, Inc. So that's going to be the place where it's going.
Okay.
So the ride's going to be so Mike and Sully is going to be closing down in early 2026. So by the way, if you want to go get one last ride on that, go do that, because they will be converting that over to this new Avatar ride. All right. Let's hop back over to Epcot. They have announced the Soarin Across America opening date. Actually, no, I'm sorry.
We're not really hopping over to Epcot.
No, right? This is still in Disneyland. My apologies. So on July 2nd, 2026, Soarin Across America will premiere over in Disneyland, over in California. It will have only scenes that are inside the United States as opposed to soaring around the world. And of course, Patrick Warburton will still be there. Patrick Warburton, the national treasure that he is. So.
Yes. I'm excited for this, but again, right, like it's nothing new. I mean, I hope it will be like, I hope we won't get like, I don't know. It will be interesting, but like
a curved Space Needle. Have you seen that meme on Facebook?
Yes, that's definitely what we're getting. But
yeah,
I mean, I'm happy that we go across America, and it will be interesting. But again, it's not a new ride.
Right.
So
it's coming July 2nd to Disneyland. It will be coming to Walt Disney World and Epcot, but they have not announced a date yet for that particular opening. All right, now let's really go back to Orlando. Over at Disney Hollywood Studios, they have announced new details around the Art of Animation Courtyard reimagining. And part of that is going to be 6 new character meet and greets that will be coming, 2 of which have been confirmed. So we will be able to meet Rapunzel and Mulan within these meet and greets, which is great. And then there are 4 more which they have not announced yet. In addition, Disney Junior Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, which I got to be honest, I didn't even know was still on the air. I mean, my boys watched that like crazy when they were young.
Oh, yeah, there's a new version of it. Like it's a whole new version, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, and it's a big deal.
Okay, so there is going to be a live stage show coming to the Art of Animation Courtyard, or whatever it is they call it.
But is it just going to be Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, or it will be like the other show where they had characters from other shows as well? That's the question.
Yeah. There are not enough details on that yet, but they will be opening.
As long as Sophia the First comes back or is there, I'm happy. That's like a staple. That was a staple in our house.
Also, I remember Vampirina being big. I wonder if they're going to...
Vampirina's still big, and there's actually a teenage version of Vampirina that airs on Disney itself now. Live action. And they're not half bad, to be honest with you. I met the author of the Vampirina series. It was funny. So we were doing something for the website, and, you know, Vampirina was always such a big deal of, you know, a book in our house, and they had reached out for something, and my daughter had dressed up for Vampirina for Halloween, like back when there was like just the books. So the author had reached out, and I kind of got to talk to her. Very, very nice person. So we've always been a Vampirina family. I'd be happy to see that appear in the parks as well.
If they don't do Vampirina as like some teen, like a teen Vampirina as some moody goth, they missed an opportunity. I
mean, she is. I mean, the show's already out. I mean, it's got a full season out. So, and it's like I said, it's pretty good. She's at a school and things like that. I don't know. I like it though.
Okay. All right. This next
Olaf one
so that folks, the next portion of this park news, we're just going to call this the animatronics section, because the next 3 or 4 articles is going to be about animatronics. So first off, Disney Imagineering has unveiled the next level freestanding animatronics. Olaf has come to the Frozen Land. Is this in Disneyland, or I can't remember which part?
It's Paris, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Paris. That's right. So they have a free roaming Olaf who is able to interact with guests. And there is a Facebook post that shows the actual unit talking to Imagineers. There's one now that's out with them talking to Josh D'Amaro. It is absolutely amazing.
I mean, you knew this was coming when you could have these same interactions with your LLMs that exist out there, right? So you knew that, we were going to get something like this because why not, right? And this is going to be an interesting take because, again, from the AI side, I wonder how they've worked their guardrails around this. Is it going to be something where you can just interact and talk to Olaf yourself, right? Is it going to be something where the handlers are interacting with Olaf? I think that we're at a point in our AI journey that you could guardrail, around the AI that exists for Olaf to keep him pretty tight in terms of responses and things like that.
Because people are going to people, right? So there's
people are going to people, but I think that I think we're at that point now where we're pretty good. Like I said, I mean, it's kind of what I do for a living, and I think we're there. So I'm excited about that. I think the robotic part of it is also very interesting. With Olaf, it's something that is a little bit easier. I'm not a robotics guy, but it looks like it might be a little bit easier to deal with. But I still don't see these coming to the U.S. parks. Someone would just pick them up and take them. Like, I just feel like that's what they would try to do. They would try to pick up Olaf or try to hug him with his, stick arms or something like that. I'm curious to how he's going to interact in the parks. Right.
There would have to be, at least when it first started, and who knows how long, there's going to have to be some divider between the animatronic and the general public. Because once again, people are going to people.
Yeah.
So, along those lines, there are some news reports of next-gen audio animatronics coming to the new Lion King ride at Disneyland Paris. Man, Disneyland Paris is getting all the neat stuff.
Wait, but at part of that video, though, what about the face mapping? Do you have that in here? There was some really... Is that in here somewhere? Okay, maybe. All right.
Yeah. We'll talk about that next. Yeah.
Okay.
So, first off, the audio animatronics coming to the Lion King ride at Disneyland Paris. Again, it's going to use all of that large language model. It's going to be using the next gen robotics. It's just going to be...
Well, and I think that's kind of the next step. Like I've always talked about, like I always felt like holograms were, that's where we want to go. But interaction is also something that I think is interesting. What if you're on a ride and you could just yell out to the characters, the animatronics on the ride, and they would have different things to say?
Right.
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, we have to think we are at a unique convergence of technologies. We've got, on one side, we've got the AI, large language models. And on the other side, like Damon just mentioned, we have all of these advanced robotics that have just come online within the last 5 years. And this is almost, Imagineering is just like kids in a candy store right now. They have to be this convergence of technology. Ooh. All right. One more animatronic story. They are testing out what might be a freestanding dancing Minnie Mouse that will be coming to the park.
So when we talked about the Disney Junior stuff, it's very interesting because it was always puppet oriented.
Right.
And I feel like we're going to get animatronics next and something like that. And that's the perfect thing because it's a show and you're not going to be touching them, but you could kind of interact with them, especially like the CMs interact with them during the show. So I think maybe that's our next step in terms of where we're going to go.
Exactly. And then the last little bit of next gen animatronic we're going to talk about, Damon just mentioned it. They are,
just so everyone knows, it's not on the list.
It's not on the list. I will add it to our show notes here. Disney has brought back the face mapping projection. If you have read,
they brought it back in a
better way. Yeah, in a way better way. So what we're talking about, if you have if you have ridden Frozen Ever After over in Epcot, the animatronics there.
Yeah, aren't they going to replace those with just straight up animatronics?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
However, they've had this face mapping projection on them, and it looked a little weird, right? It was in that uncanny valley area where it just didn't seem right. Disney Imagineering has just put out some videos where they have shown the next generation of that, and it looks it looks lifelike. It
Well,
is
I think
amazing.
a big part of it is what they were saying. It allows things like crying or things like that, which they didn't have the aspect to do before. So, yeah, it does look scary cool, right? And it's funny because we have that along with these animatronics. Like, where are we going? Like, it's kind of like VHS Betamax. Like, which one's going to win out? And that's what we're going to do, right?
Right.
So I think overall there is a lot of technology coming. I just want to see it here sooner rather than later. Like, let's get it rolling. Let's get it out in the park. So, coming soon. Now let's get some dates around some of these things when we're going to see.
Yeah. All right. Last little bit of park news, and this is a big one. Bluey, the international hit, is finally coming to Disney parks. And not only Disney parks, but it's also coming to cruise lines. So there's going to be a Disneyland show. It's going to be called Bluey's Best Day Ever.
What do you think? Like, how hard is it going to be to get into that thing?
Oh,
there's going to be crying kids like crazy.
It'll be virtual queue when it starts out. It's going to be bonkers. When it first. So Bluey and Bingo are going to appear live on stage, I'm sure, with some of their other friends. Along with that, there's going to be interactive adventures in a life-sized gnome village and fairy garden. Now, this is where I do full disclosure. I have never seen a single episode of Bluey, so some of this I don't understand.
Bluey's pretty cool.
Yeah, is it one of those things where they have jokes that only adults would get?
Yeah. It's definitely a good show for everybody to kind of watch. So it's like, what you look for in shows, that your kids are watching is the ability to watch them yourself at the same time. Not that I'm necessarily going out and watching Bluey solo, but yeah, like you could sit and watch a Bluey episode for sure.
Okay. Maybe I'll try one out with our youngest son and see what it's like. But anyway, they're going to have a live on stage show. It's going to have interactive adventures in the Gnome Village. That's at Disneyland. So on the cruise lines, there are going to be meet and greets with Bluey and Bingo, dance parties, and then scavenger hunts. Not too many more details other than that, but it's another addition to activities on board cruise lines. I can't remember, are you doing any Disney cruises soon?
No, we don't have any Disney cruises lined up. I mean, after seeing the Destiny, though, like, I think it's on the list. I don't know when yet, though. Again, like, for me, it's very difficult. Like, I'm planning out after 28. So we have 27. We have Star of the Seas Royal Caribbean and probably a Disney stay for whatever's new at Disney. And then 28, we'd like to see Legends of the Seas, the Royal Caribbean. And that will probably depend on how much fun we have on Star of the Seas. But my kids are going to have real jobs then. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, to get everyone to come on a Disney cruise, I think will be easy. It will just be a matter of, I think we'll have to start doing 4 days, not 7 days. Like, I just don't think that they'll be able to do that.
Right. All right. And then for everyone over at Walt Disney World, Bluey and Bingo will be coming there. They are going to be going to Animal Kingdom. They will be taking over the conservation station.
Which I think is a great idea.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
People will definitely go.
So conservation station, if you haven't been in a while, that is over where they used to have, what's the baboon from Lion King? Rafiki. It was Rafiki's watch. So you take the train over, you would go through the animal conservation area. It was it's been underutilized. Let's say. And
almost like a one and done.
Yeah, it is. You go over one time. It's neat. Don't get me wrong, but it's one of those things where you're like, okay, I don't need to go back. Now this with Bluey and Bingo coming.
And they're saying there's going to be some games from the show.
Right. Well. So keepy uppy. If those have watched the show, I'm sure that means something, right? So,
yeah, I think that will be good, though. I think you'll get a lot more people going over there and repeating going over there. So
right, and there'll still be animal encounters, but they're going to tailor it to where there are animals from Bluey's native home of Australia. So, which will be neat.
So I think we have to talk about, like, we have to adjust this now, like. Stuff that's still Disney is not part of the after show. It's just part of non-park news. But today, because of Blake, we're going to put it into the after show because I don't think we have anything otherwise in the after show. But in general, it doesn't mean that we have to have an after show every time we record. And next time we will keep the Disney stuff in a Disney non-park before the after show. So stay tuned for the after show, even if you think it's non-Disney stuff. This go around for
We're gonna exactly. So, and with all that being said, it's now time for the after show. All right, time for the after show. Number 1, Zootopia 2 has come out like a blockbuster. It has broken some records, folks. It is the biggest animated film opening of all time, of all animated features ever made. It has been the biggest. And not only that, it is the 4th highest movie opening of all time. And folks, that gets into a list that has Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity War, Spider-Man. That is amazing.
It's interesting because I feel like I've seen Zootopia 1, but don't remember it at all, or maybe only saw bits and parts of it, and like really have zero interest in Zootopia 2. But obviously that's just a me thing.
That is a you thing. I mean, I remember seeing it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was neat. It was cute. I will eventually wait for it to come out on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I almost feel like, it's funny when I talked about, like, I'm a big TV person, and there was just some shows that I hadn't seen that, like, you kind of have to see.
Right.
And I think, like, Zootopia is another one of those, like, if you're an animated film person, like, you kind of have to see it. Like I said, I've been out of films recently, more into series. But again, like you, my guess is that I'll see it on Disney Plus, because I feel like with the Zootopia stuff coming to the parks, it's almost like I'm going to have to watch it.
Right. And the reviews that I have been seeing are, this movie is full of Easter egg references, like enough where you will have to watch this movie multiple times to catch all of the Easter egg references. For instance, there's like a Hungry Hippos reference.
One of the best games of all time.
There is
caused a lot of fights.
There is a polar bear drinking Coke out of a bottle, if you're familiar with that. So anyway, there will be a lot of Easter eggs. You will probably have to watch it more than once. By the way, this movie had a $556 million opening. Now, interestingly, only 156 of that came from domestic here in the U.S., but a whopping 400 million international ticket take. That is...
I think it also matches up really well with, getting rid of A Bug's Life and things like that. So I think that, Disney's smart about that.
The Imagineer who pitched the idea of saying, hey, let's get rid of Bug's Life and put in Zootopia. They're just sitting pretty right now. They're like, yep, I told you. So
absolutely.
All right. Now, let's go over to Disney Springs. So permits have been filed in Disney Springs to update one of the store spaces that is a couple of stores down from Gideon's Bakehouse. And now, why is that important? That is because the name on the filing for the permit is First Raven LLC, which is owned by the Gideon's Bakehouse owner, Steve Lewis. So there's rampant speculation that this might be a satellite secondary store.
So Blake came to me and says, well, I thought you don't talk about food. So let me just make sure we're clear about what I don't talk about. I will talk about something like this because we're not talking about a specific food item, right? I like Gideon's and it was great and it's always busy. So this makes sense if it's another Gideon's or if it's something different along the food line. Absolutely. What I don't talk about is when the lists of food come out for an event or something like that, where I'm never going to taste it. What is me going, oh yeah, I guess that would taste okay. You have no idea, right? So just because you see the ingredients of something in a picture of it doesn't mean it's going to taste the way you think it's going to taste. And I don't talk about things that I'm not going to taste because that's silly.
Right.
So
right.
Anyway, that's where the difference is.
So have you been to Gideon's?
I have.
Actually? Yeah, I have not yet, just because every time we go, the line is, I think, out to Epcot, right?
Yeah.
So I don't feel like standing in that line.
I mean, you can get kind of what we did is I had one person go to Gideon's and the other ones just kind of rested.
Right.
Right.
Although I will say the inside of that store looks really cool.
It is pretty cool. Absolutely.
Library bookshelf.
Mm-hmm.
All right, folks, I'm going to be honest. That's it for After Show. It was pretty light today.
And it would be nothing if, Blake paid attention to the rules.
Whatever. All right, folks. So we just want to remind you to please go visit don'tresistthetravel.com. Let them handle every detail in creating and planning your next extraordinary getaway. Maybe you could even pay them enough to go stand in the Gideon's Bake Shop line for you, and that way you would not have to do it. Who knows? They might be willing to do that. So listen to us on all of the podcast streaming services and rate us. If we are not on your favorite platform, please drop us a message in the Facebook group or send us an email, which, by the way, our email is rhubarbtravelerspodcast@gmail.com. Send us an email or drop us a line on the Facebook group and let us know which streaming service you use, and we will make sure we get it set up there. And then while you're at it, please go over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star rating and review us. It will help us out tremendously. That 5-star rating works.
And Spotify.
And Spotify. If you have time, also, please go to Spotify and do the same thing. That helps out the algorithms to get our show out in front of eyeballs to people that have never listened to us before. Like we mentioned earlier, we have a Patreon. Go to patreon.com and please consider becoming a Patreon subscriber to help out defray the cost of running the show. We are on all of the socials. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We're on Facebook. Please go.
And you can see Blake a lot on Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah, that's right. You can go see my face for radio on TikTok. So
there we go.
Folks, the Rhubarb Travelers podcast is for entertainment purposes only. We are not employed by the Walt Disney Company or NBC Universal, the parent company of Universal Studios. And as such, all opinions expressed on the show are exclusively our own. Please consult a DVC or Disney cast member or Universal team member for more information about anything we might have talked about today. All right, folks, that is going to be it. So until next time, Damon, I will talk to you later, my friend.
All right, bye-bye.